Ricky Bob, he says, we have a client that uses a subdomain for their blog. Their main site gets decent traffic, 50,000 per month, but the blog that is blog.example gets less than 1,000 per month. Okay. They are not going to change it to a subfolder anytime soon. I've recommended it, obviously. Any advice on what to do to boost the blog subdomain? They have a few dozen articles on there, and we are starting to work on the content consistency going forward now that we have our keyword research and recommendations thanks to MGYB. My suggestion would be, yeah, just start using the subdomain a lot more, right? Your syndication network should be attached to it. You should be blogging consistently. And that's essentially what I was just talking about in my previous reply or response to Pablo's question about over time, just that the blog will start to gain more traction. And you'll see in Search Console, especially as you publish more content, your total impression number will start to go way, way up because you'll start being recognized by Google for a lot more keyword combinations. So different types of search queries will give your site impressions. And then that's actually a really good content strategy to go in the Search Console and identify keywords that are relevant, like search queries that triggered an impression for your blog. Find those queries that are relevant that aren't ranking well yet, but that are close. Like, for example, maybe their position is somewhere between 11 and 20. Well, those are good keywords then to start optimizing for, producing more content for, linking back to the original piece of content, that kind of stuff to help try to boost those to page one so that you start getting more traffic. My point is, adding more content to the blog would be my first step. And then you could always do things like, paid traffic to some of the posts and then do remarketing so that you can always be bringing people back, which will probably get more visits to the blog, even repeat visits, which is really, really good for SEO also. So those would be my two recommendations. Any from you?
Yeah, the SEO shield, the SEO power shield. It's all part of the system. So it's not just getting the syndication properties. It's not just blogging. It's not just syndicating your content. It's powering up your shield. It's powering up your ad ID. It's powering up everything that has to do with your entity. It has to do with getting your schema out there. It has to do with whatever you need to do to make the content rank. So link building comes into place. Embeds come into place. More link building, more embeds. Press releases, link building to press releases. Stack the press releases. If you're local, posting, stacking your posts, link building into your posts, local images. Guys, we've created a whole entire system for you to do this. We just can't give you the pieces here for free. I mean, we got to go back to that. You want the system. It's in the paid groups. It's in Semantic Mastery and the heavy hitter. Join Semantic Mastery, and you get a really good price for joining heavy hitter. But we can't give you everything. We'd love to, but then there would be no Semantic Mastery if we gave everything away for free. Right? The people who have to sit and think and do all of these things have to be able to make some kind of living, right? Some kind of money, get rewarded for all the effort that we put into doing all of this. So having said that, it's the system. Ads work perfectly well if you do them the way that we say do. Don't just go out and run any kind of ads that may or may not work. Use the system that we've set up to make the ads work. Use the system. We've created the system. We make everything available in mgyb.co. But if you get it without really understanding what it is that you're doing, then you're actually doing yourself I don't know, what can we call it? You're doing yourself more harm than good because you're leaving so much power on the table, so much power that you could be using.
And that's a good point. Press releases. I showed this in our Facebook group, the SEO tutorials with Semantic Mastery Facebook group. Somebody was asking a question about press releases. Well, it was more of a comment about how they read some article on some blog about how press releases don't work. And so they were just relaying that information. And there started a discussion, a thread. And one of the arguments that the person that posted the question, or the statement really was stating was, well, you guys are all saying they work, but I want to see proof, right? And so I just took a screenshot of Google Analytics of just one, project that I'm working on that shows referral traffic, and it showed Press Advantage, right, which is the press releases that we primarily use, and it showed for a 30-day period, I think it was 287 or 267 visits directly from Press Advantage. So don't discredit that either. Like, again, and that's all part of what we teach is like the same content strategy. So in your blog, that's one of the best things. One of the strategies that I use consistently, almost exclusively now, is we publish blog posts for clients. And as soon as a blog post is published, not always a 1-to-1 ratio, depending on what their budget is, but we will publish a press release to promote the blog post. So every time a new blog post gets published, we have a press release that links back to the blog post. So we're driving traffic from Press Advantage domain as well as a lot of other news type sites. When it does get traffic, Press Advantage tends to drive, the domain itself tends to drive quite a bit of traffic, but that sends traffic to that newly published blog post. Plus it builds a bunch of links to that newly published blog post. So it's really, really good for building up the SEO value of your blog, as well as driving traffic to it, which is what your original question was, is how to get more traffic to the blog. So that's another great part of the strategy that we teach.
Yep.
So it was a great question.